Ladies and gentlemen, hello and welcome back for game number 2. We're going to be taking a look at ehome facing off against CDEC Gaming. It's the lower bracket finals. I know we're really early. I think that I accidentally set the timer incorrectly because it said 12 minutes. I think it was supposed to say 2. Sorry about that, guys. I don't know how to math. But we're in the Shanghai Dota 2 Open, lower bracket finals. How are you feeling right now, Tsunami?
A little bit confused.
Yeah?
As I'm not entirely sure I was in the lobby.
Oh no! Oh no! That's not good. Well, why don't you hop in? So this is going to be an interesting one. Why don't you hop in? You'll be able to watch it. There's no delay on Dota TV, so people will just hear me talking to myself on Dota TV, but you'll only be 7 seconds behind, I believe, and you can... You know, spread all the love that way.
That's okay. I'll basically be then. It'll be basically the same thing as long as I think fast.
Oh my goodness, what the heck? Well, while you're sorting that out because there's a little bit of a miscommunication. Sorry about that. We're gonna be seeing a Shadow Demon first pick overall by CDEC, and then a Juggernaut Keeper of the Light, followed up by a CDEC special. This is the hero that they've ran the most out of any other hero, I think, so far, a Nature's Prophet.
What, they picked the Nature's Prophet?
They picked the Nature's Prophet, CDEC Gaming.
Okay. And you say that this is a hero that they run quite a bit. Now tell me more about that, because I have not seen this hero anywhere for a long time.
Yeah, well, it just has to do with, obviously, like a lot of the big draft, or like the AoE worldwide draft stuff that we got going on. And let me actually double check that I'm correct in this, because I think it's their most played hero over the past like week or month or so. I'm just gonna do a little bit of the research. Yeah, it's the most picked. 100% win rate with it, and from my understanding, they tend to play it in the off lane. I think we've seen a couple of matches where they also go into the jungle with it, but it's incredibly strong because you've still got everything that hero does. The worldwide presence. You're going to be able to push pretty heavily as well. I think that we saw a game where they went for the Ags Octarine, or they didn't do Ags Octarine, but I think they went the Ags on Nature's Prophet as well and just continually pushed. It's pretty hard to deal with it because they ran Nature's Prophet with the Naga Siren and then went and Ags Nature's Prophet.
That's pretty devastating, but I can't always guarantee that Nature's Prophet is like... so did he end up getting a Midas first or no?
I don't remember if he did. I'll have to double check it, but they may have. But yeah, I mean, either way, it's hard to deal with.
In theory, that's the dream. I like getting Octarine on Nature's Prophet in general, just because the threat of a Permasprout is always amusing to me. And ehome does have a melee core, so I guess that's always on the table.
Yeah, no, definitely. That's hard to deal with, definitely. All right, okay, you got it on there. You're in the game now? You're with us?
I don't know. I'm 2 minutes in the loading screen.
Oh, lordy. Well, hopefully this works out. Maybe it's gonna end up happening. But yeah, it's something else to keep our eyes on, of course. And Juggernaut, another very just tried and true strong pick. I do have to say that after you lose a match like that last one, and ehome are taking a long time with this ban now, how worried are you about just going for that, like the Juggernaut this early on? Like, I feel like the hero doesn't really offer you that much.
Maybe on some specific teams, but for ehome, I trust that if they're picking it first, then this is probably a comfort hero for them. I imagine that, like, not only in terms of just being able to play the hero well, but being able to put the hero in various lanes, because he could go mid and he could go safe lane right now, and I've seen no issues with either of those runs.
Well, and ehome do opt to ban out that Naga Siren that we were talking about. They also had to take out the Luna. That's part of the thing, is that you just have to worry about that massive split push potential, and they can still do it with a couple of other heroes. I believe that we saw one game where they went it with an Alchemist as well. So there's a lot of different ways that you can take that style of Dota, just the straight up illusion-based and treant-based now as well, split pushing stuff. So last ban now for CDEC, they took out the Timbersaw, another hero that's great at counter-pushing waves, although it's interesting that they took it against the Coddle. Maybe this is going to be more of a battle Nature's Prophet build.
Most likely. I feel that the utility Prophet kind of fell off in terms of viability, just because if he doesn't manage to get the towers that he needs and the map control that he needs, then you're kind of running around with a bunch of useless items because you're gonna have to fight. The enemy team will force you to fight. And if you're not equipped for that, then your team's gonna lose because you sucked up a lot of farm on the map for a bunch of useless items.
Yeah, definitely. That's the problem. Well, our Spirit now, he's going to get taken. Mr. Ebola Spirit from back in the day. I feel like he's settled down a little bit. I don't nearly think that he's as difficult to play against as he once was. And they haven't picked the mid laner yet for CDEC Gaming either. So I would imagine that they're going to be comfortable. Like, you can pick somebody that deals with their Spirit pretty well, right?
You can, but I don't remember who banned it last game, but it was definitely a first phase ban along with Rihi last game. And if CDEC banned it, then it's likely that they know that ehome. I don't know who the Earth Spirit player is on ehome, but I imagine that they're probably very strong with it if CDEC was scared enough to first phase ban it, because like you said, the hero isn't very auto win. He's much more skill based than he was before, which isn't to say that he was like a roll your face on the keyboard type of hero to begin with, but he was able to take he was able to make an impact without, you know, having that much farm or that much levels, and now he kind of needs to have one or the other.
Well,
and a Doom.
CDEC, yeah, they're going to continue the streak of
I feel like I'm watching a game from, like, I know there's some delay on this match for me, but this game isn't in 2014 or something, is it?
No, it's not. That's the thing that's interesting about it, again, is CDEC, they have a couple of different players that are incredibly, to me, they kind of remind me of Team NP, you know, the Eternal Envy squad, where it's a lot of different people that are just very technically minded about the game, who think about it a lot, and, you know, you think about the MSS, the Eternal Envy, those guys who are always theory crafting. It's a similar type of thing for June and September, in particular. Like, September was the drafter. He was able to do a ton for the LGD team, or he wasn't the drafter, but he had a lot of input that he brought to the table. So I think that they are just willing to experiment a lot. And I mean, you take a Doom at this stage in the game, the ehome are going to go back for the Darks here, and then we do see the Anti-Mage picked up. There are so many high mana pool heroes in this game. I feel like CDEC have a really good bet at this, and at the end of the day, it's split push and pick off Dota.
These must be heroes that they feel very confident on, because I mean, in the previous match, like,
it's all different.
It is all different.
There's not a single hero that they picked in the previous match.
Exactly, and I was intending to see a little bit of, you know, consistency, seeing as how they did so well that first game. But, you know, I guess you gotta keep your enemies on your toes.
10 seconds.
Well, and this is sort of, to me, it almost feels like they're trying to emulate the way that Wings play, where they're just trying to take whatever they think is going to allow them to win at any given point in time, and they're not necessarily going off of the meta. It's just what they feel comfortable with. And I've been taking again another little gander at these different heroes and what they've been playing and what they've been picking in the past month. Or rather, in the past week for CDEC, they've ran 38 different heroes. You compare this to ehome, who've, well, they've played a good amount as well. They've played more games, like about twice as many games, and they've only picked 47 different heroes. So there's a lot of variability in what they draft on CDEC.
I can support that. It's just that I'm concerned that all of these heroes may operate well in a vacuum. Because sometimes I like to see some stable meta picks around. But, you know, I mean, CDC, they know what they're doing better than I do. And Puck last pick for CDC.
Not to mention, Big Bad Lady. Legion Commander's going to come and hang out. So we've got what I'm assuming is going to be a mid-Legion Commander. I would guess we're going to have an anti-mage in the safe lane with a Nature's Prophet going into that off lane. So going to be an interesting one. I feel like, what are you worried about right now? I'm a little worried about CDEC's laning stage. Is there anything else that I'm missing here?
I mean, I'm worried about CDEC as a whole. I feel like they've kind of just picked themselves...
10 seconds
pigeonhole
remaining.
themselves with these picks, because any one of these heroes, mainly Doom and Nature's Prophet, is what I'm having issues with.
Okay.
They just seem so arbitrary to me, and like I don't really see very much synergy in their lineup either. Like all of their cores are just kind of like doing their own thing most of the time. There's no real like push strat or ganking strat or late game strat. I guess they could go late game if they wanted to, but that doesn't seem to be the plan.
Well, what's interesting to me is that the puck, that's the one that stands out as a little bit awkward, which is weird because it's probably outside of Shadow Demon the most commonly picked hero out of all of these. The big thing though is that like if you look at Anti-Mage and Nature's Prophet, they're going to be trying to go for split push. That makes sense. Doom, he's going to be trying to go for pick off. It makes sense with the split push. But the puck is like a team fighting hero, right? So is he just there? I'm not exactly sure what he's aiming to do. Dropping the tangos? Oh, nice.
I absolutely agree. I mean, it seems that they're just kind of all over the place with this draft, but we'll see. I'm curious to see if they can pull it off, because ehome, comparatively, has a much more stable draft as far as I can tell.
You know, I'm going to say this. Old 11, if you went 0-7 on Faceless Void last game, I don't know if you get to drop tangos in the face of the Anti-Mage. I'm not sure if you get to do that.
This is how you psych yourself up again. You don't want to start out too big, you know? You just want to ease yourself into be like, yeah, I'll draw my tangos in front of you. What are you gonna do about it? You gonna skill blink one? Come on, go for it.
Yeah, it's again, I'm not sure if that's the play. We'll see how this laning stage ends up going for him, but it looks like they're going to be going for an aggro lane. So Landom is going to come down here, as well as the Juggernaut and the Earth Spirit. We'll see if they end up being able to pressure, but I mean, this does feel like a lane where they're going to be able to get a lot done with Doom in the jungle, at least at the start. He's probably just going to eat a creep and come into lane, though.
So you're a bit ahead of me, but could you click on the Earth Spirit, because I swear I just saw him with a mustache?
Oh yeah, he's got a mustache hat.
Oh wow. Oh wow. Great. I gotta get one of these. Alright, I changed my mind. ehome are definitely winning this game.
Okay. Oh, I like this play, actually. The Shadow Demon is going to be able to go for just like, even if they push really heavily, he can start stacking up Shadow Poison on the creeps, and then AM comes in for the last last hits, so he doesn't take too much damage. I like that. But they are going to have to deal, and this is the way that Coddle's been being played when you don't just get a completely free lane, is like in an aggro try, just spamming out Illuminate.
Yeah, and it's going to work well because CDEC does not have the strongest support. It's all up to the Shadow Demon, and if he's going to be spamming all of his mana on Shadow Poison, then that means that he's not going to have a defensive disruption to protect you against this aggro try.
No. True enough. Well, October, pump faking the Shadow Poison. He's hitting it onto a couple of those creeps and just trying to do whatever he can to mess with the Sylar Juggernaut here. Forcing out a spin, I feel like, is a win here. You can make it happen.
Yeah, especially because it'll force Coddle to spend more chakra on Jug than himself.
Although, if you force out a spin and it leads towards an Old Lanham First Blood, it's probably not the best, as they're able to take down that Anti-Mage. Until he gets Spell Shield, this is going to be a very dangerous lane for him. He doesn't even have Blink.
Yeah, there's tons of magic damage in this lane, and I don't even know if he'll be able to get away with a 1-1-1 stats build that we typically see from Anti-Mages.
The other thing we haven't talked about a ton, this mid lane is a real disaster already for the puck. 13-3 versus the 8-2. That is with the wave coming in, so things are a little bit better, but still somewhat scary, as Guardian is going to run away from the Doom, even though he had a DD rune.
Yeah, they had the choice, like you had suspected that the Legion Commander was going mid. I was still on the fence whether it would be Jug or LC. Both of them do fine, and I thought LC would be a little bit better against the Nature's Prophet, but it seems like LC is just better against Puck, so might as well win that lane.
Top tower is under
Definitely.
attack.
In the meantime, June just trying his best to deal with this harassment that's already being leveled by the Old 11 Dark Seer. Very difficult to deal with Iron Shaw, although he's a little bit better than most. Puck gets caught right there as well by the overwhelming odds, but the rotation in from September, they might be able to make something happen here. Diving forward for it, they do have Scorched Earth, but unfortunately, the pack leader aura, this might be enough damage. They do find that kill. Nature's Prophet with the rotation. That's why June loves this hero.
Yeah, I can see that. And I can see that he also has the fortunes of the neutral creeps to actually give him an Alpha Wolf.
Yeah. It's one of the better ones that you can get. I mean, that's the thing is like, this is, I want to say that this was originally a Chinese build that we would see out of a Doom where you just go for Tranquil Boots and run at people because you get the armor bonus and you can just move in and start right-clicking whoever is mid or in any of these lanes.
Yeah, and that's only enhanced by the presence of a Nature's Prophet. And okay, I'm starting to see his strategy come together a little bit, but I want to see it, you know, I want to see it after 3 minutes and see how it goes.
Definitely. That's going to be the big marker here. If Doom, if they're able to catch back up through finding these kills, it's very worth it. And Doom now is going to have a regen rune spawn near him. We'll see if Puck wants to spam out his mana pool so he can go pick that one up. But a double null tally build for him off the bat. No need for boots this time around.
Yeah, he needs all the damage he can get against this LC right now because, you know, he's caught up in terms of CS, but this LC, once she starts getting a few more levels, it's not going to be easy for this Puck. And like you said, you don't really know where this Puck fits in. Like, what's the plan? What's the, like, is going to go ganking? Is just going to mindlessly farm? And right now, it seems like farming is the better option because the other lanes are doing fine with just Doom and Nature's Prophet rotations.
And I mean, the other thing we haven't really talked about a ton, Anti-Mage 12 last hits versus the 26 of the Juggernaut. He's been left completely alone in this game by his team, so focus being put onto the other areas. It's worth noting that CDEC are always going to be able to get their split push game on with this Nature's Prophet, so as long as AM eventually can get to the jungle or, you know, get something out of this lane, it's going to be okay, but as it stands right now, Lanham is just going to keep being a bully to him.
Yeah, and in this game, I believe that Doom and Nature's Prophet are there to make space for the Anti-Mage. They knew that he wasn't going to get very much. As soon as the laning phase, like, it became clear where the heroes were going to go, and they were going to put a tri-lane against him. So CDEC is content with letting AM just kind of struggle for right now. Once Doom and Nature's Prophet get a little bit of momentum, then they can make all the space in the world.
September ready to dive this one. Has been able to find him already, and Old 11 taking some damage. They are going to be able to kill off Garter. Now looking for a bit more as Darkseer is in the area, and, well, they're not going to dive for it. They're just going to leave October to perish for himself. Rest of the side of CDEC gets out of that one as they do not want to have to contend with Sylar, who has made the rotation, but not going to be able to find anything.
Yeah, rotations would come way too easily. And something
bottom lane, they found Lanham though. A pretty nice catch there with the tree as well, sprouting him up. And meanwhile, a little bit of help bottom. November gets some space.
This is what the plan was, and how foolish was I for not seeing it?
I mean, it's not something that's very commonly seen, though, is this type of a draft, and a lot of ingenuity put in from CDEC to make this work. We'll see, though. Legion Commander, to me, does feel like that hero that can throw a wrench into this into the works a little bit. If you have if you've got a duel onto AM, he's probably going to go down.
Yeah, and as well as holding back this Nature's Prophet, overwhelming odds is gonna... It's one of the best spells for having to deal with a split push, and since they have a Juggernaut to be the main one position, Legion Commander doesn't need to constantly be hanging around with the team.
Legion just filling up in the jungle, gonna try and get some right clicks on, but the Rune hasted, picked up. Old Chicken in some trouble. Are they gonna be able to find the kill? The rotation in from June, and gonna get right clicked to death, wrapped around a pawn, silenced onto 2 of them as well, but they might have bit off more than they can chew. Well, Lanham finds the kill, so June does go down there, but it looks like Puck will be able to survive as he jaunts down to the low ground.
That was a classic Puck haste rune right there, and used very well. And these Nature's Prophet rotations that are coming out so well. I mean, he did end up dying in that gank attempt, but it was Earth Spirit and Coddle who ended up getting the kill, so no big loss.
And in the meantime, November again just trying to deal with this Darkseer, and is going to jump away the other direction. He'll still take some Ion Shell damage here, but might be okay. Blinking too. He just walks away from him. Not going to go down.
Radiant's bottom tower is under attack.
There's a lot of mobility on this CDEC team, like between Scorched Earth and Teleportation and Blink and Jaunt. It's so difficult for any of these ehome players to stick on a target, and Darkseer is probably going to be the best at it with Surge, and hopefully you can get good silences with this Earth Spirit, but this is all... It's going to be difficult in a team fight situation where you can't pick and choose your targets.
Oh, this might be a moment, though. We've got Doom, who almost has level 6. Puck just picked up an Arcane Rune. If Legion sticks around, she is probably going to die in this lane, but I imagine she realizes this is going to back out. Meanwhile, bottom lane, November drops low, but not going to be able to find that kill. The vacuum came slightly too late for Old 11, and they weren't able to kill off that AM. And with that Ring of Health, he should just regen up enough for keep himself healthy.
I'm curious to see what this Doom builds, because there are a lot of options here. I feel like Blink would be the smart option.
Rolling Boulder away, but they caught him. Oh, nicely done there. There's a really good imprisonment. Now Guardian is going to drop. AM is actually the one that picks up the kill at the end. And I talked about it, that mobility on this team. They make it work.
Yeah, I mean, and this is without any Blink daggers whatsoever. This is just 9 minutes into the game that they're being able to get all over enemies like this with, you know, barely any effort. It's just all... They had 5 heroes there, sure, and then you'd hope that you get a kill in that situation, but still, it's not as easy as it looks, especially with heroes that I consider to not be the most synergistic.
Yeah. I mean, you just... You move where you need to go, you take down a couple guys, and even though it looks funky, they make it work. Top lane is being pressured in right now, though, and this is the thing that Lanham is going to give them with that coddle, is just constant pressure, but June moves back in, and they aren't going to be able to find that. Old Levin's going to try and run down October here. It might be able to get the kill. He does have the imprisonment, and with that, I think that Shadow Demon walks away. So Darkseer not able to bully.
Yeah, as I was saying earlier, I'm curious to see what this Doom goes for. Yeah. Has he completed the build case into a Midas yet, or no?
It does look like he's going for a Midas, but still around 300-ish gold away, is looking for the duel. November running. Oh, Blink was on cooldown just a little bit longer, and they are going to be able to find that kill. Dual damage going the way of Old Chicken. So he's going to be going for a Midas, it looks like.
Okay. Yeah, so I think that, you know, Shadowblade is great. Blink, I feel, would be a little bit safer, but it's... what's this Nature's Prophet building right now?
Nature's Prophet's heading now in towards the mid lane. He's going to be going into drums after phase boots.
Okay, so it seems like they want more mid-game presence. That actually does not help me, because I guess Shadowblade and Blink are both equally good in the mid-game. So we'll see, you know. We'll play it by ear.
I think this is just the way that they like to... I mean, I think that this is just the way that you build Nature's Prophet nowadays as well. Like, I don't know if you can go for much else, because otherwise you're too vulnerable early on. Sylar, they are going to get the deny on the tower, but Omni Slash gets dropped. He's really tanky, and they're going to go for the imprisonment, still keeping alive that September Doom, but he is finally going to fall in October now. Kind of has to look on this May. Via Feb is here as well. They have a Dream Coil available, and they drop it onto Lil Dev and Silence with the Shadow Poison. He should go down now. Ends up popping. June getting chased down by Sylar. A lot of damage coming out with that Blade Fury, and they do find that kill now. Lanham rotated in upon as well. It's going to be October. Magnetize dropped, and another kill going their way. So ehome take down 3. They lose their Darkseer for it, but I think well worth it.
It's a good timing, because this Doom hasn't been able to doom anyone yet. In that beginning of that fight, he didn't have enough mana and got killed by the Omni Slash, and CDEC thought that they could take the fight.
Oh god, Lanham almost died there, as did Sylar. Sorry about that. Yeah, it's... I mean, that's the thing, is that when they're not getting that Doom off, they're not really doing a whole lot for themselves.
No. The time for Sprout ganks with just Scorched Earth are over. They need more than that, and Juggernaut was free-farming the entire time, leading his team, leading the game in net worth, so it's not surprising that he's becoming such a potent force, and that's why I feel like September may have been a bit too greedy with this Midas build. You typically see it on Dooms regardless, just because it's the thing to do. He eats gold for breakfast, literally, but I feel that with the Nature's Prophet and Anti-Mage, he didn't really need to be so safe with the late game, and could have kind of been more early mid-game presence.
That's definitely one of the routes that they could have gone for, and we'll see if it ends up sort of biting them in the butt because of it. I mean, if they do get towards the late game, though, and we haven't seen a ton of towers get taken so far, this lineup from CDEC will have 4 cores, basically, and I'm looking at the net worth compared to each other. This Earth Spirit's pretty low. The Coddle's getting a decent amount, but he's probably not going to scale as well as the Midas Doomwell. I don't know. We'll see how it goes. What are you thinking right now as we see the smoke coming out? Do you feel like Oh man, Radiant just on top of it. They scanned immediately. Do you think that CDEC are comfortable with how the game is going despite that failed team fight in the mid or up in the top lane?
Yeah, it's going to take much more time for them to really be concerned. Right now, if Legion Commander was just rolling in the dual damage, then you better start sweating. But right now, she's still, like, these smoke ganks just aren't working out for them. Or smoke ganks singular, I suppose, but they maybe should have gone for more because Legion Commander is going to be in charge of making sure that this Nature's Prophet and this Anti-Mage stay under control.
Oh man, and they jumped forward, blink from the old chicken, and they tried to catch Feb. They weren't going to be able to do it though. He just phase shifts, blinks out of there. They are on top of October though. He made an overextension. Not sure about that play and is going to end up going down because of it. They don't get the duel with old chicken. Oh no.
It's a bit of a shame, but as long as you get the kill and you can transition it into something like a push, then you take what you can get.
Yeah, that's true. June's doing his best as he's moving along this top lane, trying to take down the tier 2, but yeah, it's at least something going their way. And 6 to 8, tier 1 taken down mid. The tier 2 is going to be pressured. I feel like once they get that initiation item out of this Doom, the game becomes so much more difficult for ehome.
And as long as they have the vision to support it as well, because if they keep compromising map control, then even once the Doom gets an initiation item, he can only do so much.
November's gonna go down. He accidentally blinked into 3 heroes. That hurts.
Accidentally.
Yeah.
This is I was saying something about vision, and I probably contributed
Speaking of vision, though, they actually jump onto 2, Old Chicken and Old 11, the only ones that were left here. They should end up dying to this. Roshan does not get the deny. Old 11 is going to be doomed. That is the Darkseer, but the huge blast coming out from Landham did a good bit. Feb almost gonzo. The silence is there, trying to create that separation. Sylar does find the kill, but will pay for it with his own life. June, meanwhile, running away from Guardian as well as Old Lanham. Can they find this kill? They push him away, and I think that maybe if September was able to be there a little bit quicker, they could have found that. They lose 2, but ehome lose 3.
Wow, that was such a chaotic fight. I guess, just be happy that Doom got his Doom off, I suppose, because that fight could have gone much worse for CDEC otherwise. And they got the cores of ehome. CDEC is pleased with that, and yeah, I wish we could click on things, but you know that's an issue for another day.
Yeah, we'll do our bestest. If you need something in particular, you can also just hit me on Skype, and it'll be a seamless transition. It'll be great. June, meanwhile, is gonna go back to cliff jungling because that's a thing. It'll be great. The right click's there, and he's going for what I'm assuming is going to be an Orchid build, which I do like this pickup. Drums, Orchid. I guess, is there a particular hero that ehome, or rather that CDEC want to take out at the start of the fight?
It's going to be ideally the Legion Commander, but if they can silence the Darkseer, that will also be good. The problem is that if they don't silence the Legion Commander, then she's just going to be able to press the attack on whoever else is remaining. And I hope that this Orchid will turn into a Bloodthorn, because I think the entire team can benefit from that quite a bit. But just an Orchid itself, it seems that Nature's Prophet took over the role of being mid-game presence versus the Doom.
October just gonna TP out of there. Do they find the... Oh, they got the stun interrupt. October is gonna end up dropping. And with that, well, try to do whatever he could in the meantime. The big problem we're also seeing is that this is an anti-mage who still doesn't have his Battle Fury. It's probably gonna be completed now, but 17 minutes is a rough time.
It's very rough, and that's not the only person who's broke on CDEC. This support Shadow Demon is so poor right now, and he hasn't really had much to deal with in terms of like having to be forced to buy detection or being in ward wars constantly. He's just not being able to find farm because Nature's Prophet inherently just sucks up all the farm on the map, and Anti-Mage, Battle Fury completed, it's going to be all the lanes push all the time.
This ward right here was the thing that allowed them to get that courier snipe, so nicely played. That was, I'm assuming, a June TP in and then take it out and then head back in towards the base here. So really nicely done. It's the little things that you can count upon, but still, they need to be able to defend these towers, and with tier 2 starting to go down, CDEC are going to be a little bit concerned.
Yeah, this Nature's Prophet isn't being able to split push as effectively. His build was, you know, more conservative, as I said, more mid-game oriented, more fighting oriented, and it's not the rat Nature's Prophet that he's most famous for. It's a little bit.
Sylar gets doomed immediately after the Blade Fear. The TPs are coming, but I don't know if this is actually going to be good enough. The Vacuum back trying to find it. They do get the kill onto Sylar with the Mana Void coming out from November. Still silenced for the moment. Magnetize connects onto 3. Feb is going to go down, but he did a decent chunk of damage before that happened. So they only end up losing the puck, but they do take down that Jug, and that was a lot of gold back into the coffers of AM, who now is starting to catch back up. He's only 300 gold behind the Jug. We were just talking about how poor this guy was.
Yeah, Battle Fury is such a power spike, and especially if he's showing up to fights like he is right now. A lot of AMs don't feel comfortable. Like, they'll get the Battle Fury and they'll be like, okay, cool. Now I feel comfortable farming in dangerous areas, but I'm still not comfortable showing up to a fight until I get my Manta. But since his team has, you know, gone this build that oriented more towards helping the AM get a good foundation after he had a poor laning phase.
Sep, bottom lane, he might be in a little bit of trouble, and June is here as well. They get the silence. He's going to eat his way through the trees, and with that, it looks like we're going to have to see CDEC call off the charge. Sylar is hunting with his Omni Slash, but I don't think he's going to be able to find this.
Yeah, they're prowling, but it's difficult to hope to initiate against, like I said, a team with this much mobility.
Well, meantime, Ember on the anti-mage, continuing to farm away, and now he's really hitting his stride. He's suddenly the top net worth in the game, and I feel like part of this has to do with just the build that Sylar had to go for, where he's, you know, gone for the Sanj and Yasha now, probably going to go afterwards back into a Scotty, I would imagine. Or do you think he needs to go for something like Blink?
But then the problem is that no one on his team is really dealing damage, because this LC has not gotten very many duels, and who's gonna start being the...
Oh, they're coming to contest Roshan, potentially. Rosh is gonna fall. They're not gonna go for it. All right, so they get the Rosh.
Yeah, I see these treants waddling around, but unfortunately a little bit too late to scout that Rosh out, and that'll definitely help ehome feel a little bit more confident going in for a push. There are only 2 tier 2s remaining, and hopefully that they can take both of them under the duration of this one Aegis.
Well, Mechanism, Darkseer has 4,000 gold in the bank. He's just kind of holding on to that now. I feel like a Guardian Greaves at this point, or possibly even just going back for his Blink Dagger, be a pretty nice play for him.
Greaves would be the safer choice, especially because I said that the reason that this MP would be going Orchid is half the time he's trying to silence his Darkseer. So, yeah, I mean, in terms of just sustain as well, he's already got, you know, all the items he really needs besides Blink. He could get both of them, really, and be fine.
That's, I guess, just, I don't know. It feels a little bit weird to me, like they're unsure as to what they actually need, or maybe they're even thinking about trying to build towards a Hex, since Anti-Mage is so maneuverable and they don't really have a great option to lock him down outside of Old Chicken Duel. I'm not sure.
True. I wouldn't object to that.
Oh, Sylar though, he actually might go down over here in the top here. The right clicks are going to be there. The rest of his team showing up. All right, they aren't going to be able to find that kill. Feb is going to back out.
Yeah, this anti-mage has definitely snowballed into a much stronger position than anyone would have expected, but this is what ehome was planning, and that's why they were sacrificing that lane early on, and he's accelerated so much that this Juggernaut just couldn't keep up. This Juggernaut had to participate in too many fights early on, couldn't just farm mindlessly, and same issue with this Legion Commander. Now this, even though ideally I wouldn't want Darkseer to have to be the initiation against an anti-mage, if he has to go Sheepstick and that's what it takes, then that's the right call.
Yeah, it looks like he actually is going for it. He has, well, potentially, he has the Void Stone. But ehome knocking on the front door. Feb goes out. A nice silence is going to get dropped, though. Puck, a little bit of an overextension, gets punished for it quite heavily, and now in some trouble. ehome are probably going to stick around with that. They're ready to go. Puck has to buy back into the game.
Born for another million
Oh, and it
years.
looks like they're actually going to think about retreating. September is here with Doom. Omni Slash still not used as of yet. They get the silence onto Sylar, but press the attack keeps it off of them. They're fine for now. And Sylar's just going to hit away at this barracks now, and they drop the Doom onto Old Chicken. There's the Dream Coil as well, leveled out. Sylar does still have Omni Slash if he wants to use it. On the backlines, Anti-Mage went in but wasn't able to find the kill, and now they've lost the Doom. They saved their barracks. Doom is down. ehome might just reinitiate now. They can't stop this. Anti-Mage Illusions are hitting on him, draining the mana, but he doesn't have Mana Void again.
And does this Jug still have Aegis? 'Cause it looks like he does.
Yeah, they are still pretty comfortable with what's going on. Melee Barracks, they pop the fortification for a moment. There's the Sprout down again. Another Orchid leveled against Sylar. A four-man silence from the Puck, but he needs to play very carefully considering they are no longer going to have buyback on him. And it looks like ehome came for the Barracks. They're going to take him, at least the melee.
Has fallen.
That will do it. Well, maybe ehome can keep on going. I mean, they're gonna they have Ags on Coddle. It's just not on him yet, and they're going to be actually looking for a Courier Snipe, maybe, or just cutting the creep wave with Nature's Prophet. This is a really smart play by June. They just need to kill off the creep wave now, and then they'll be okay. Backdoor protection not finished off, so
Barracks has fallen.
ehome. Yeah, they're good.
Yeah, this is a great timing for the Coddle Ag as well. It just turned daytime, so how long does Sylar have on his Aegis still?
Not exactly sure. It was a relatively long time ago,
Radiant's bottom tower
but I feel like it
is
might
under
start finishing up. They're cutting this creep wave with November, and the problem is they still have creeps in the mid lane. They didn't take care of that. Jump forward. They found a duel on October. He's going down. Maybe going to be able to kill off Sylar. They're trying to bring him very low. Aegis is now gone and has popped, and looking for Lanham, and June is going to TP out of there. Still fine for the moment. It's going to be Old Chicken. We've just got so much sustain, and the Ags is still not here for Coddle. This would make this push almost impossible to stop, but with the Healing Ward down, Jug now ready to continue the fight. The Melee Barracks has fallen. They haven't dealt with the creep wave mid. If CDEC was just able to take care of that a little bit earlier, this fight might have looked very different. Doom is back off cooldown in 5 seconds, but they don't want to fight until then. 2% stop, and now they're also going to be tanking the Omni Slash. That's a dead Nature's Prophet. June is gone for 50. November is forced to fight, jumps in, but he's in a lot of trouble. He's forced to blink away.
Radiant's
They've got
bottom
another
barracks
Mana
is
Void,
under
but
attack.
Old 11 is going to have to be the target if they want to go on him. At the same time, though, now you've got the Ags. You've got the sustain with Keeper of the Light. They are too big.
That was a great fight. Probably. It sounded like a great fight. It seems that the base is just getting obliterated now, so I'm saying that was a pretty good fight.
Yeah.
And like you said, sustain is the issue. They've been living outside the Radiant base for like the past 4 minutes. And I mean, Coddle didn't even get his Ag until halfway through. But there was just the Darkseer just staying in the back and just this press the attack constantly. Everything was in charge of keeping this Jug alive, and after the Aegis went down, they still weren't concerned. They were still going for structures, and you can't get too close to this team because even though CDEC does have lots of mobility, it's more geared towards initiation mobility.
Oh my
in terms
God.
of escape mobility.
Up in the top lane, though, they do drill onto Sylar, and that's going to be able to find the kill. It was a pretty nice play by Coddle to try and push them back with the Blinding Light. Guardian is in the trees here. He does need to be a little bit careful to jump forward. They don't catch the Coddle, because guess what? Lanham has a Blink Dagger, and now November, they drop the wall on top of him. Old 11 is running out of mana here. He threw out the Sheep Stick as well, and now dueled potentially November. They didn't get the duel, but they do find the kill. It had already been used. It looks like with that, June might end up going down. Does have the Blink Dagger, but yeah, there was no way he was going to get out of there. On the other side, September, his Shadow Blade wears off, and he's going to drop too. 3 and potentially 4 heroes going down from CDEC, and ehome might just have their number. Yeah, Doom bought out. He doesn't have buyback now.
Yeah, here I was thinking that the Jug was going to be the deciding factor in terms of dealing damage, but I guess all these supports, the Legion Commander, the Darkseer, the Coddle, they all got enough farm on ehome that it wasn't even necessary for the Jug to be alive that fight. He got doomed and taken out immediately. CDEC thought, okay, well that's the one position gone, we can probably just start going for more, but against this Legion Commander and the rest of the team, especially at daytime, CDEC just couldn't handle it.
Yeah, and this is, I'll mention that there's a little bit of history between these two teams as well. ehome and CDEC were facing off against each other a while ago, and ehome built a tremendous, or CDEC built this impressive lead, and ehome were able to come back, and I think it was like the third largest comeback in history of Dota.
Yeah.
That was that game. That was these two teams that are playing against each other. So we'll see. There's still a chance CDEC could pull this back in and sort of do the repeat, but it's definitely feeling like it's ehome's game to throw it. It would be hard for them to lose at this point. Although they're pushing up in nighttime might be one of the things that does it.
It's confidence, and we'll see if it's misplaced confidence, but I did see you briefly pull up that net worth chart, and I saw a precipitous drop. So I think I can get away with this.
Vacuum wall into 2. There's the Omni slash. 2 are gone. Old Lanham, he's here and just going to be able to walk away from the damage being dealt. They lose the anti-mage as well. Juggernaut, too much damage, and GG does get called by June as they end up losing. 29 minutes. A great game. You were worried about the CDEC draft. It looks like you were pretty right to be worried.
I was worried. I was worried minutes in advance, and well, they tried something. I was hoping for something interesting. Any bit of spice. Who am I to object to putting a little bit of versatility in this meta? But you know, there's only so much that you can do. Sometimes the heroes just aren't meant to be.
Oh, well, we'll see if they can possibly continue this momentum, ehome, or if CDEC are going to be able to pull themselves back with another one of their interesting drafts and take the win. I've been Lyrical, he's been Tsunami. Be sure to follow us on Twitter at Lyrical Dota, at Tsunami643. Any final thoughts before we move into game number 3 here?
Yes, tell me when the next lobby is up.
That sounds good. It's going to be up immediately, so just hop right into it. Thank you guys for watching. We'll see you guys in just a second.